We learned a lot about what was going on in the classroom throughout that remote learning session that students went through.
Fontanilla says that she and her husband, who taught middle school and high school students, became disillusioned by the education system. So in the middle of the pandemic, they quit their teaching jobs in California and they moved to Florida, where they founded their own online Christian school. So Kali and Joshua Fontanilla are the co-founders of Exodus Institute. They join us now. Thank you so much for being here. Kali, you're biracial and your husband is also mixed descent. You grew up in a liberal area and taught in a blue district in California. Here are some of the images that you sent us from a class you say was required to be learned. This is what they were required to learn in California. What all about all this stopped you in your tracks and said, this is not right, we can't be teaching this? What was the critical moment for you?
Well, when I was hearing on the mainstream news that critical race theory is not being taught in our K through 12 schools, and it's only a legal theory in colleges, and then here I am seeing lessons being given to my 9th grade students in a required class that most of them were failing, actually, that contained critical race theory. So I decided, you know what, I need to share this with the American people. And I started doing it anonymously on Facebook, sharing these lessons, telling people that it is in our schools and here's the evidence.
Right. You know, we've heard from parents who claim similar things, right? They say somehow race and gender and sexual orientation is being prioritized in my child's classroom. They're being discussed when really it should just be about the subject matter at hand, and that's being pushed to the wayside. Joshua, can you talk to us about what you noticed when you were teaching at these public schools? What stood out to you particularly about LGBTQ plus club meeting? What's going on with that?
Yeah, at the school that I was at, the high school I was at, they would make a particular effort to announce only the gay club. I forget the exact name of it, but only the gay club was announced from the loudspeakers. All the other clubs, for example, I ran a chess club, and none of the rest of them got the benefit of being announced every week, hey, reminding the students this is where it's at, here's the time, and so forth. So it seemed a little suspicious to me. And then I went and looked at the curriculum, and I saw the vast majority of the authors that they were having us, the students read. And this is an English class. This is not, you know, in any kind of, this is just a mainstream regular class. They were almost all of them were left-leaning.
Yeah, and you're pulling together your teacher retirement pensions, right, to launch this Exodus Institute. Kali, you have more than 2 years of experience with this. How has it been going so far, and do you expect that there's going to be a lot of more students that want to sign up for the school?
Well, we currently have 180 students, so that's a blessing. We only charge $29 a month. And it's for on-demand lessons that are taught by both Joshua and I that counter all of the leftist indoctrination, but I also call it truth. And it's going really well. This is what we love to do. We love to teach, and I'm so glad that we are still able to teach in America during a time when a lot of teachers are getting fired for teaching the things that we are teaching in our school at thinkexodus.org.
Sure. Hey, you can't put a price tag on truth, especially when it's your children, the next generation of learners worth every penny. Josh, can you talk to us about maybe what some of these lessons include?
Absolutely. You know, conservatives, oftentimes we understand the arguments against all the anti-woke stuff, but there's not a lot of resources out there for children to understand these things, to put these things in terms that maybe a 5th grader or a high school kid can understand. And so that's what we try to do at our school at Exodus Institute. So we have lessons, you know, for example, dealing with what happened in Venezuela, where we're going to talk about the problems of inflation. What is inflation? You know, that's stuff that we kind of take for granted that conservatives understand, but our children can understand it. And so we try to present those lessons in a way that young people can understand. We have lessons on the American dream, how it's possible, lessons on how the reason why some groups are lagging behind others is culture. It's not systemic racism like the left tries to say. So that's the kind of stuff that we're trying to get across and we're trying to make understandable for young children.
Wow. All right. And also not hating the country in which they're living. I think that's a really great place to start.
Exactly.
Kali and Joshua, thanks so much for coming on, speaking to us about your program. Again, what's that website people can check out?
thinkexodus.org.
Okay. All right. I'm sure plenty of parents will be looking into that. Thank you both.